Okay, so in this lesson we're looking more at slope, okay, but we're changing the name of slope. So another name for slope is rate of change. And so what I want to stress is that we know that slope and rate of change are the same thing. So, but when we refer to slope as rate of change is when we're looking at real world situations, okay? And it's super important that when we look at something that has words and real world situations is that we label our rate of change with the proper words, because sometimes they'll try to trick us, okay? Now, in our two examples below, both the table and the graph are showing us that they have a slope of, oops, I was going to say 2, but it's 4, a slope of 4. We know if we do a table, we can find the pattern, and we know on the graph that we can draw a right triangle. And I'm going to come back and talk about the graph and let's talk about the graph. So what I want you to see on the graph, this is really important, that each line, and I'm sorry the lines aren't super clear, each line is not counting by 1. This is actually 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on, right? And that's important to pay attention to. Now, when I draw mine, I'm not going to use this point because it seems like it's halfway in between. I want to use this nice pretty point and this point right here. And so what I want you to see on this is that we are going up 2, 4, whoops, this is going to be wrong, isn't it? We're going up 2, 2, 4, 6. And we are actually going across 1, 2. Oh, so for some reason this is not matching up. Okay, so that actually has a slope of 3. No, not of 3. We're going over 2. Miss Adams is messing you up. Okay, so that's 1, 2, because now on the bottom we're counting by ones. And so when we do the rise over run, 6 over 2, that is actually 3. Whereas you might have just said that it was, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so be really careful about it. So they actually don't have us, the graph has a slope of 3, the table has a slope of 4. Okay, so what I want you to see now is, if we look at our table, this is the x, this is the y. This is our x, this is the y. So both the table and the graph have the same labels. Okay, and so when we say that our slope or our rate of change is 4, in this case, 4 over 1 or 4, then we still want to put y over x. So it's weight over weeks. And so this would be 4 pounds per week. And so that's what I'm talking about when we talk about the label. Same thing here. My y is the weight. My x is the weeks. And so this would be 3 pounds, because I think it did say we're measuring in pounds, per week. So we should know that rates are indicated, and we talked about that when we wrote equations, right? Per, each, 4 pounds each week, 4 pounds every week. Okay? So let's look at the next example. First thing I want to do is, when we have a table that's maybe going vertically, the top is always the x, the bottom is always the y. Okay, it's always that way. And so we can still find the change. Now, I don't want to use these numbers. These are decimals. These are ugly. So I want to use these numbers right here. To get from 3 to 12, we are adding 9. To get from 0 to 2, we are adding 2. So our slope or rate of change would be 9 over 2. And we might want to, since we're talking about words, let's go ahead and change it to a decimal, so it'd be 4.5. That's just 9 divided by 2. And then what would be our label? The y is the height, maybe in inches, and the x is our months. So this would be 4.5 inches per month. You see how we're doing that? Super easy. Okay, let's look at this graph. So remember, if the points are not labeled for you, you need to definitely make sure you go ahead and label 2 exact points. So I'm going to label those 2 because those are exact. I'm counting by ones. That's a good thing. So my rise is 3. Uh-oh, look at this axis though. This is actually 0.5, 1, 1.5. So this run is actually only 0.5. So it'd be 3 over 0.5. And we definitely, since we're talking about rate, we don't want to answer like that. So I'm going to get my calculator, and I'm going to do 3 divided by 0.5, and that gives me 6. That seems weird, right? But that's 6. And then let's look at our labels. This is our y, this is our x. So it says a distance in feet, so it'd be feet per minute. So it would be 6 feet per minute. Okay, see how we're doing that? We're just taking those labels. Okay, so you're going to have a couple more examples, and I want you to look at those in your Canvas assignment and work through those on your own.